Hello, guys. Welcome. This is a wonderful time to be with you. Remember, I've been so much engaged in a lot of data science and data management products, and it happens that as part of one of my most important projects, I had to develop this online dashboard hosted on Streamlit for predicting failures in oil pumps and for improving risk management as far as the oil and gas industry is concerned. So in this tutorial, I just want to take you through how the dashboard behaves, how to be able to predict in a single fashion failure as far as the oil and gas pump parameters are given to the dashboard. Then for the second part of it, I'll look at the batch prediction. So let's just get right into it. I believe you can see my screen. So this is actually my own profile for Streamlit, where I have hosted and deployed all my dashboards, all my applications. So quickly, I would want to now log into the oil pump prediction failure app, which I have just named after a setup I'm trying to establish, a business entity actually, Ion Arts Projects Consult. So let me just dive deep in. I have already copied my link, that is the URL for accessing the dashboard, and that is pump failure prediction bi95cz.streamlit.app. So just go into that, and here we are as the dashboard has been loaded. Basically, there are three parts of the dashboard, or should I say the app. The left pane, where you see the initial remarks of the app. Of course, something I just put there just to make it more aesthetically nice. Then the contact, my own contact details here. You have the links to my own blog, then to my website. Then you can see the visualization customization, as I'll be explaining soon. So basically, this part is linked directly to the predictions, as well as the heat map palette, then the line plot color. So in the meantime, let me just dive into the main part, which actually is the second part. The main dashboard application is here. So in totality, it's a predictive failure dashboard for oil pumps, and there's a welcome message. So first of all, because we would have users who are not really privy to the dashboard, even though they have domain expertise, managers, supervisors of pumps, pump engineers, and all those people, and even users who are just in love with predictions, have the opportunity to come in here and just use the dashboard. So for people who may want to just interact, at least have some understanding with regards to what really failure prediction is all about in terms of predicting batch files, putting in an Excel file of batch parameters, parameters over time, and you would want to really understand the basics around all of that. I created this chatbot, an AI predictive support agent, which I named after myself actually. So that's my picture here and my name. So basically, you can have the opportunity to just interact with it because it's trained towards the main agenda for this app, that is, it's trained towards prediction. So I could just, of course, there are preloaded inquiries which could get you the answer straightforward. So let me just go here and know what oil production is all about. Yeah. Then you get your explanations, right? So if you have no knowledge at all, or even if you have domain expertise and you really want to understand what oil prediction really is, you just have to dive in, just chat with the chatbot. So I would want to ask him which parameters can I use to assess the predictions. No. All right, so as you can see, in case you are not really privy to what you need to put in there, you just have to ask and you shall receive. So wonderful. So this is just an introductory part. So if you really want to dive deeper, and after chatting with the AI support agent, then you are much more convinced of what to put in there. So basically, there's the single prediction area, which is the predict machine failure. And in here, of course, you would have gotten all the needed information just to put in. Then you can just put in there, then try and predict. So let's say I have air temperature of 450 Kelvin. So basically the unit of measurement for air temperature here is Kelvin, as well as process temperature. So let me just put in the 560. Then the rotational speed per minute, I could go like 7,000. The torque, yes, I could go like 670. Then the 2 wear per minute could go 560. So putting it all in there, I just have to press this. Then I get my result. Wow. So unfortunately, the parameters are showing that the machine is predicted to fail because the torque and rotational speed, or two-way, are fatally high. So this is a red flag for anyone assessing the app. So putting in all this per the trained model, per the data trained, and that is around about 10,000 data points, circumventing several, various data points from an oil pump study to be precise. So basically putting in your data, you are able to predict per your parameters whether or not the machine will fail. So let me just try and reduce the torque. This is just an assumption. So the rotational speed maybe 400, the two maybe 30. Let me do a rip prediction. Still, so basically it's clear that the two-way, which is usually linked with oil pumps, is high. So because per physics, you would want to have a very relatively low torque, which means you are not having um, the pump, especially with the rivets, turning more than it should. So maybe 30 will do. Good. So the machine is predicted to be operating normally. And we are told, of course, this is a recommendation to anyone accessing the app. Please maintain these conditions to continue optimal performance. That is for the single prediction, right? So someone may ask, what about several data points across a timeline? And that is most expected because usually when you are studying the oil pumps, you would want to record daily daily records as far as the air temperature is concerned, the process temperature. So I created a particular trial file which I would want to put here. So you just have to browse files. You can even just drag and drop. So basically I'll use that browse files. Then go to my documents. I have some files here I can use. Then select, double click, or just use open here. Good. So our file is loaded, and you usually get this confirmation CSV file uploaded successfully. So you have the privilege to visualize the uploaded input data. At least you want to know the patterns of your data. You want to know how the data is arranged. So you can just, it's an option for you because someone may just want to go into the predictions. Of course, that is the main agenda, right? But before then, if you are really keen on looking at the visualization of your data, then you can go through this. As you can see, this is the product ID distribution. The top 20 is concatenated, and you have the product type distribution as well, whether high, low, or medium. And you have the numerical feature trends, that is in terms of the air temperature versus the record index. So you can have the air temperature, the process temperature, you just have to change it here. You have the rotational speed, you just have to change that one, and the torque, just have to change that one. So you can see the response of the app is very fast. It shouldn't take you more than a second. No, even a second is too much, and barely half a second to get the various customizations running. So here is our prediction results. As you can see, every every row, given the various parameters. Let me just enlarge it. You can have the full screen. Yeah, here's the full screen. You can see the predictions are over here. So there's a prediction column where you can view, and of course you can filter them. You can see the ones which have been predicted to be normal. Okay, so 1 here represents normal function. No, it's actually the other way around, sorry. 1 represents a failure, because it has been indexed such that 1 should depict a failure, then 0 depicts a normal function. So let me just go back. Basically, you can just use this to download as a CSV, right? So you can download the report, the failure report, as a CSV, but without the visualizations. That is the first part of the download, where you can get the comma separated values of your prediction. So I don't really need that, so I'll keep it there. So here is the confirmation of the prediction interpretation. So column predicted failure indicates 1, right? So if it's failed, or if the machine is going to fail, predicted to fail, then it's indicated by 1. Then 0 means normal prediction. So it's further given an interpretation here, where for failures you can consider these recommendations, which are usually the results of failures. When they are not looked at, they usually cause the failures. So you can see exploratory insights, after post prediction, especially with regards to whether it's predicted to fail, that is predicted failure. Per our data, we have about 9,928 observations to have predicted failure. That's serious. Then we have barely 72. Yeah, 72 counts for no failure, right? Okay, so let me just move downwards. As you can see, this is the feature distributions by predictions. You can just play with it, play around it, just to see the various histogram predictions. And you can see that, of course, like we discovered here, the number of times the machine is predicted to be normal is relatively low, as presented by this red graph. Then, more beautifully, we can see the correlation heat map, the numerical features. Of course, you have the air temperature, process temperature, torque, and you can virtually see clearly that the machine indeed has a lot of failure records, because the heat map is concentrated to fail, right? We move downwards, and this is actually the box plot of feature by failure prediction. So if you really want to see the numerical feature, you just have to go through them, and the box plot shows clearly the various failure presentations as far as the parameters are concerned. Yes. Then one very important feature when I was going through this various developments, I realized is that sometimes you just want to see the visual appeal, the aesthetical look of your predictions. It's not just about, the predictions here. You may also want to see the downloaded report of all your visualizations. So you could go here, then you generate and download your report. But before then, let me go back quickly to this. You remember, as I began, I said this visualization customization part actually affects the visualizations that you see when you make a batch prediction. So for example, I would want to see a different palette for the histogram and the box plots. So foundationally, as default, you have set 1 of the colorization. So I just want to change it to maybe pastel 2. All right, so you can see clearly that this is changed. You have the palette 2 displaying very nicely here. Let me just use dark 2. All right, so I can see dark 2 as well here. Then sorry about that, that's a ring. Probably someone is calling. So let me just change this heat map palette. I could use just purples. Let me go there. So I see purples, so wonderful. And I could have greens. Let me just see greens. Great. So for the line plot, as we saw above, the line plot, I could just change the colors. Yeah. So I get the change in the colors as well. So basically this is just to customize your plots, and of course we have different lab for colors. You just choose the one you want, then you come back here. You remember I said you have the privilege to download the visualization report. Go here, generate and download report, and here we go. It's prepared, so you can click download report as PDF. Here, voila, it's here. Let me just go through that and see. Wonderful. So machine failure prediction report, it gives you the number of failures, gives you the number of no failures, gives you the visualizations, and there you go. Yeah, of course the pseudonym I used has to come here because the product is designed by someone. It makes sense. All right, so done with that. Another very important part, of course, you may want to leave your review, and we love your feedbacks because it is going to help us make things better in the next time. So you just have to put in your details, maybe Ionas project consult, the month is 0. Okay, let me use the date selector, choose 19th, my name Isaac, my number this, my email that. So let me just go through it briefly. Yes, I'm very satisfied. Yeah, I'm satisfied with what I did. Yeah, I'm satisfied with what I did. So yeah, it did. And so maybe try out more train models, because that is what I'm trying to do in the next one. Actually give you the opportunity to train your own model in the app, right? So in the subsequent app. All right. Yeah, I love to receive newsletters because you want to know firsthand when we release new updates, right? So just click it out. This is needed, but what will we do? So basically select the cups. All right, I'm done. Submit. Good. So submitted. I'm going to receive it. Yeah. and I'm going to work with your ideas. Wonderful. So here we are. Of course, that is my number I used to use during university. So I just decided to put it here. So developed by me with the pseudonym Ionax Projects Console 2025. So thank you very much. I believe you have enjoyed this video option for the readme file, which you actually have it within my GitHub account. You can just go through there and you have the privilege to enjoy. So you can just be playing with support agent. You can just ask more questions and you'll be directed wonderfully. All right, thank you so much. Stay tuned for more, and see you again with upcoming more wonderful updates. See you. Stay positive.